Welcome to the Green Wasp Removal YouTube channel. In today's episode, we go to a local business that had asked us to come in and remove anything we found on their grounds. They had multiple different species of wasps, including one wasp nest that was possibly in the most unusual place we've ever found one and removed it from.
How you doing, buddy?
So we're about to do some very intimate work with this buffalo.
Ooh, yikes. That looks painful.
This video also goes over how you don't need poisons of any kind ever to kill wasps.
There is never a need to use toxic poison ever to kill wasps. Soap and water, sprayer, simple, biodegradable, natural is all you need. And as you see, it doesn't take long at all for them to expire. And there's no toxics left over in the environment.
So let's get straight to it. We're going to go to August 25th of 2022 is when this job began. You're going to hear just the field audio from this point forward.
By a local business to come out and inspect their property because they have multiple types of nests and they want them all removed. There's enough people that come in and out of here that they need some help, so we're going to take care of that for them today. But one of the more unique issues they had is that they have a buffalo with a nest attached to his butt. That sounds very uncomfortable, so we're going to see if we can help.
So here's our buffalo friend. How you doing, buddy? Let's see if we can help you out today. Ooh, yikes. That looks painful. He's got a serious problem on his butt. Not only does he have a live wasp nest directly on his butt, but he's also got an invasive species called Polistes Dominula. These are the bad guys who are invasives. They come from overseas. They arrived here a few decades ago and got established in North America. But they're invasive and they're taking over the native range for a lot of the wasps that belong here as our native pollinators and biological control agents. So what we want to do is remove these guys, and we will unfortunately have to terminate them with extreme prejudice, as they say, because they're invasives. So we're going to remove these nests. One is active, one is not. One's already hatched out for the season, as you can see there on the right. But the one on the left is still pretty busy.
So we're about to do some very intimate work with this buffalo. You can see we now have this one contained. It was mostly hatched out already. A lot of the silk caps are broken open, so most of them are done. So the ones that are coming back are a little confused, wondering what happened to their house. But as you can see, they're not directly attacking me. Most Polistes, as far as species are concerned, are not particularly aggressive toward humans. So it's important to understand that if you run into domestic Polistes that are not invasive species, they're not terribly aggressive and they should be just left in place if you possibly can, because we need the Polistes that are native in this environment to survive. But these guys that are Dominula, this is Polistes Dominula. It's an invasive from overseas, so we're going to go ahead and terminate this nest. Now, as always, we don't use poisons when we do this. If we have to terminate a nest, we'll use water or heat. Just leave this container in the sun for a while and that'll kill them through heat. But if you do have to terminate, just do it without poison. Drown them or leave them in the heat, and that's good enough. You don't want to use toxics in the environment if you don't have to. So here's the other nest. This one is already hatched out, had nobody left on it. So we'll save that as a specimen because it's in pretty good shape. Down here you have the remnants of the nest. So you want to scrape that away from any surface you find it on. This will deter them from coming back. All right. I've never fondled the privates of a buffalo before, but I'm honored to do so now. I hope that feels better, buddy. What do you think? You feel better? Yeah. Lordy, nobody wants a wasp nest on their butt. All right, dude. See you next time. Whenever you have stragglers, best thing to do is take a spray bottle full of soap and water, just regular dish soap that cuts grease type, and water. Give it a shake, and then just hit these guys hard with a spray, not a stream, but a spray, to make sure you get the liquid all over the body of the wasp. What that does is it suffocates them because they breathe through their abdomen. And what will happen is the soap and water clogs the spiracles, which are the little holes in the abdomen they breathe through, and they just drop dead. So it's better than poison. It's biodegradable, especially if you buy the right soap that's biodegradable. We highly recommend using this instead of poison. So as you can see, they can't take flight, they can't breathe, they start dropping on the ground. They'll run around, but they're certainly unable to fly, and they're gonna die. So this is the way to do it if you have to kill them. We never like to kill if we don't have to, but when they're invasive species, it's gotta be done. Now we're just going to observe this wasp so you can see the action of the soap and water on the wasp. You see it struggles more and more. It starts to get to the point where it collapses and it simply suffocates. It's a relatively quick death. We don't like to make anything suffer, but it's the kind of thing that is far superior than any kind of toxic poison, and it's super simple and it's cheaper, so everybody wins. The wasps die quickly. You can pick this stuff up for almost nothing, and there's no toxics left over in the environment. There's just no better way to do this. Here's another one. And as you see, it doesn't take long at all for them to expire. Okay. So let's do the same thing at the sign, and then we'll be done with this site. Let's make sure nothing was missed and they're all dead. All right, so our buffalo friend is much more comfortable now. Next up is the sign. Here we have another Polistes Dominula. For liability purposes, it's a good idea if this is on your property and you're right here at the sidewalk level, basically at head height. You know, not a bad idea to get rid of these guys. Besides, these are Polistes Dominula, so these are invasive species just like the ones we removed from the buffalo. So we need to go. So we're going to collect these today. With Polistes, we're just going to take a jar and a scraper tool. We're going to drop the nest right into the jar. So here's what you have in the jar. You got a few of them, some of the adults, some of the foragers, maybe the founders, who knows. But we'll get more here now. So like all wasps, they're going to go directly back to where their nest was. So any of them that you miss on the initial run, these will usually disperse on their own and die off without the nest. However, what you can do is go back in and collect them after they come out and then go back to the nest. If you want to deter them from building there again, spray it down with bleach water solution or peppermint spray with essential peppermint oil, non-food grade. It's meant to be used for insect deterrent, and it's a natural remedy. Most wasp species don't like that super strong scent of the essential oil peppermint, and that in the bleach water solution with soap and water, that'll usually be plenty to keep them away. So as they come back, you just sort of grab each of them as they come in and keep them in containers. And we'll do that as more come back. So you just catch them one at a time as they come back. Then you just remove whatever debris of the nest is there, so they have nothing to come back to. And then just spray it down. Typically you can just spray this stuff down with any type of solution that's non-toxic, that's scented heavily. Here's our lineup today of the usual suspects. Polistes Dominula. All of these guys came out of various nests on this property, so this business did the right thing calling us to get rid of these. These are all invasives, and they will not be relocated. We may keep some specimens for study in the lab, because this is a very important species right now, because it's taken over the native range of so many of our native wasps. It's a little concerning to scientists who are still not quite sure what the outcome of that is going to be, but it's typically not good when there's invasive species pushing out native species. So we'll have to see how that turns out. But all of these nests now that were in uncomfortable or dangerous areas because they're too close to people, this business can rest easy that these guys are now contained. Here on the sign you've got the same thing where the wasps are just sitting there where the nest used to be. Best thing to do is take a spray bottle full of soap and water, just regular dish soap that cuts grease type, and just hit them hard. Literally within a few seconds, they all just drop. And the ones that fell away, They absolutely cannot fly, and they won't be able to attack you. They're just going to come over here on the grass and expire. So here we have a metricus nest, and we spoke with the owner of the business. We're under another awning on the side door of the business, and we let the owner know that this species is threatened by the takeover from the Polistes Dominula, which is an invasive Polistes that's been taking over a lot of the native range of these guys, which are the North American wasps that belong here. Spoke to the owner, and fortunately, the owner is very eco-friendly and aware, and he was fine with leaving this nest throughout the rest of the season. So the queens who have become inseminated can go ahead and overwinter and start new nests somewhere else later in the springtime. So he's going to leave this one here because this door is not used very often, and this species is simply not very aggressive. So as you can see, I'm inches from them now, and they completely ignore me. They don't mind me being here at all. Uh-oh, that guy got stuck in a web. Let me help him out if he gets stuck. Or her, I should say, most likely. She's bringing in some food for the nest too, so it's a good thing she made it back. Okay, so we're going to leave these guys alone. But there is a mud dauber nest next to them, and we'll get that out of there after they are done here for the season. Here we have another dauber nest we're just going to get rid of because it's been hatched out. Mud daubers, typically, if you can leave them until they're hatched out, that's the thing to do. And that's because you want to allow these native species to do what they do, which is take care of the local environment by acting as biological control agents that remove a lot of pest insects. This is an old Polistes nest that was abandoned and not finished. So we'll just get rid of that for aesthetics. Our metricus over there, we're going to leave those guys alone. See you later, guys. So just remember, there is never a need to use toxic poison ever to kill wasps. Soap and water, sprayer, simple, biodegradable, natural is all you need for any kind of wasp, anytime. You simply do not need poison. Don't use it.
That's it for today's episode. We appreciate you being here with us. As always, if you could like and subscribe, share, comment, all that good stuff that helps our channel reach a wider audience, we'd sure appreciate it. We'll see you again soon. Have a good one.